Good morning. It's about afternoon. So good afternoon, folks. So can you share my? Can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the talk. Like we are here presenting pipeline as code plus demo. Just a second. Yeah. So good afternoon, folks. So first of all, I'll introduce myself. I am Pooja Dhupar. I'm currently working in ThoughtWorks as a consultant from last 3.5 years. And I have total of 5 years of experience. And from last 2 years, I'm working in DevOps domain. So with me, I have Mradul Jain. Mradul, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Pooja. Hello, everyone. I'm Radul Jain. I'm working as a senior infrastructure consultant in ThoughtWorks since last 1 year and carries a total IT experience of 7+ years as DevOps. So I'm AWS and Red Hat certified. Majorly, I'm working in cloud, container, and deployment and automation of infrastructure. So yeah, over to you, Pooja.
Yeah. So let's first go through the agenda, what is in the agenda for us. So first of all, we will go through what is pipeline as code and why it is needed. And the next is how it works with what's the benefit of pipeline as code. And after that, we will see how the pipeline as code looks into GoCD by going through the YAML file of GoCD and then terminologies used in GoCD files. And then after that, we'll have a Q&A. So before jumping into what is pipeline as code and why it is needed, let's go through one example. So like in CI/CD session, we go through an example of ThoughtWorks has given an assignment to Bob, who's a builder, to build a workspace for us with various components. So now let's see, so one day Bob falls ill. So now what will happen? So now right now what happened is Bob keeps all the like plan to what will we do, what will be the future goals and everything with him. To like he keeps every document with him all the time. So now when he goes home, everything goes with him at his home. So now one day Bob falls ill. What will happen? So now the next day, team is waiting for him to come to the site and give them the work and everything. So now everybody is waiting for him to come and see like why he's not here, and then they're just blocking, like everybody is blocked, they are just waiting, they're wasting time. So after that, one of the team members, Wendy, decides to go to his home and see what happened. He went to his home and he see that like Bob is ill. And Bob gives him all his documents and everything to him, to Wendy. And then Wendy comes back, and then they start working on that particular like site on the work they have decided for that particular day. So now see, in this scenario in which Bob keeps all the documents with him all the time, there is a drawback. Like if he falls ill, or anybody in place of him is anybody else falls ill, that will block everyone. That like everybody will wait for him. So that is one of the major problems in that like in that scenario, that he's the single point of failure. So there are two solutions for this. So like there was one solution which we applied here, that Wendy goes to his home, collect all the documents and came back and then start working till the time everybody is blocked, till the time Wendy is not back. So there's another solution. The another solution is, if Bob keep all the documents, all the plans in at one place in the site where everybody can access it on the site, the members of the team. So they can, if he is not available, they can just go through that like drawer, take out the documents and see like these are the works we need to do, they'll do. They are not dependent on Bob. So that is the main, that with this we will be able to solve our problem of like single point of failure. So in the same way, if we take this analogy to our DevOps world, so we have pipelines in which we will decide like what we want to do. We want to build this artifact. Before building this artifact, we will run unit tests, we will run some linting tests and all them, and then we will build an artifact, and then we will use that artifact in different ways in our application. So now and when I explain what is pipeline as code, so this is pipeline as code, like keeping your all the configuration of your pipelines and of what the pipeline will do in a single place is pipeline as code. So if you keep it in a single repository where everybody can access it in your team, that way you will not create a single point of failure like we had in our Bob the Builder example. Like Bob was a single point of failure. So that is pipeline as code. Now let me go through the definition of what is pipeline as code. So pipeline as code is best defined as a practice where you write your deployment pipelines and everything in a version control system. And that means that your history will be tracked and you know who has made the changes, and you can ask them why they have made the changes if it's going through a peer review. It's stored in a centralized place. Using pipeline as code also eliminates the manual creation and management of a deployment pipeline that was traditionally done in CI/CD world. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So there's a picture which defines our entire day-to-day like life of a DevOps engineer in or a normal dev of in software world. So in this, we have a central source control server in which we are keeping all our code and all our infrastructure code, all our application code. And then we have a CI server, which is fetching that code from server and doing some stuff like building it, testing it, and then notifying everyone about the status of the build. So now let's see, we have various members in our team, and suppose there is a developer too who is working on infra side, and he made some changes in the pipeline, and he has committed those changes into the CI server. In the source server. So now the CI server is monitoring the source control server and see that some changes are coming, and those changes are pipeline changes, like infrastructure changes. So he'll see that the pipeline changes are here. The CI server will implement those changes on pipelines and then run that pipeline and then notify everyone on the team that what's the status of the build, like whether it's a success or failure. Now let's see, that person is doing work at the end of the day and he just committed it. He has not waited for it to go through the entire circle. He just went home and he's living up very far away. So he's not available for next maybe 2 hours. Maybe he's going from Gurgaon to Noida, which is 2 hours. So he's like, everybody is blocked in the team. Like if suppose let's consider like here a team which is distributed, like there are some person sitting in another like part of the world, which is like for them there is a start of the day and then they see the pipeline is broken and we don't know how to fix it. So with pipeline as code, if you see that this is broken, like if now we are keeping our everything in source control server, we can revert that change. Like we can see that like this is broken, we don't know how to fix it, we can just simply revert it, run the build again, and then our pipeline will be green. So that is one of the major advantages of pipeline as code, that you're keeping your code in a central record, which give everybody an access to revert and to see if it's breaking something, they can revert it, and then that person who has broken the system can come again and see that why it was broken and then fix it. So that was the major advantages of pipeline as code. So now let me before jumping into why we needed pipeline as code and how it was introduced. So let me fire a poll here. So have anybody has a prior experience with GoCD? So Mrinal, can you fire a poll here? So let's wait for some seconds and then we will have an answer.
Five seconds to end the poll.
Yeah. Can we have the result, please? Yeah, so most of the people has no experience with GoCD, and well, yeah, I think 83% have no experience with GoCD. Okay, so when we explain the YAML file, we will also explain the terminology to what are the terminologies used in GoCD. So that will give you a brief review like how you can create pipelines in GoCD. So let me go into let me go into why how pipelines was created or how pipeline as code came into concept. So this pipeline as a code concept introduced by Jenkins in their 2.0 version in 2016. Later, that concept was adopted by most of the CI/CD tools in their architecture. So now let's see how pipelines were created before pipeline as code came into picture, like in before 2016. So now this is a GoCD dashboard. So I'm showing you a view how you can create a pipeline on GoCD from a UI. Like, so here, if you want to create a new pipeline, maybe you can click on add new pipeline, and then it will take you to a form in which it will ask you various things. So here on the first check, it is asking you a material. I'm not going into the definition of material, that will be covered later in the slides. So here, like, material is, I have selected Git, in which I have added the link to my repository, and then I have added the name of my pipeline, and then I have added various stages in the pipeline, what will be the stages, and then I have added a task in that in my stage that it will basically do echo world. Now when I'm clicking on save plus run this pipeline, it will create my pipeline, and it will trigger a pipeline as well. So now that how the pipelines were created before pipeline as a code came into picture. Like, we were filling like various web forms, selecting multiple things like from a drop down menu. So that was how we created. So all the configuration that will be generated by this form is stored as a XML, and it will be stored on your CI/CD server. So as we can see, that this is not feasible, because as we know that our world is changing, so are the demands of the CI/CD, and it's also changing. It's becoming more complex day by day, and there are so many things which these UI was not able to support. So that's why pipeline as a code came into picture, in which you can store your configuration, which will give you more flexibility to create your pipelines from instead of from UI. So that's how you created pipelines before pipeline as a code concept. So now let's see how pipeline as code, how change the pipeline. So now if you want to create any pipeline as code into GoCD, first of all, what you need to do is you need to register your SCM, your central repository, into GoCD server. So now when you register your repository into GoCD server, it will always watches that repository, and it will look for some particular file to create the pipeline. In GoCD, it will look for this pipeline.gocd.yaml file. It will see that I'm seeing this file, and it will apply all the changes coming into this file into your CI server and create pipelines depending upon the YAML file. Like, whatever you have defined in this YAML file, those things will be created into your CI/CD server. It will basically listen to that particular file, and it will create or update pipelines in your server as whenever the changes are coming into that pipeline. So that's how we created pipeline in GoCD. So now let me hand it over to my colleague Mradul. He will take it forward from here, and he will show you how we can create pipelines using GoCD. Over to you, Mradul.
Thanks, Pooja. So let's go ahead and understand what are the benefits of using a pipeline as code before we jump onto the YAML file. So next slide, please. Yep. So let us understand one by one what all are the benefits of pipeline as code. So the very first is easy maintenance and updates. So suppose you have multiple pipelines and you want to change something in pipeline. You can just make the change in code, and it will reflect at all the pipelines which you have created using the same code. Suppose there are 10 different pipelines and you want to change a parameter called image name. You have to just make changes at one file, and it will be reflected in other. Okay. So next is immutable version control. Helps in tracking the history of changes done. So deployment pipeline is basically stored in version control system. As discussed earlier as well, we are using a source code control system, maybe Git, maybe SPN, some other thing. So if your CI/CD tool crashes or loses data, then you can easily restore the deployment pipelines from your source code. You just have to pull it again, and it will create the pipeline same as it is the one which was before crashing. So the next is lesser amount of manual edits are required. Yes, one single edit will help in making changes in all the pipelines, as I said earlier. Provide a single view across all applications and environments. So yes, once the pipeline is successfully created, using pipeline as code, the same can be used in deployments to other environment. You can create the same pipeline using same code with minimal changes. So the view will be similar. Like, it will not be like in one pipeline there is deployment and direct health checks. In the other pipeline, there is deployment and QA and something else. So the structure will be same for a specific environment. Reuse and sharing. Yes, it's one of the great advantage. We can reuse the same code in different projects as well. Like suppose you have a client who is having multiple sub projects. You want to use the same pipeline structure which you have used in other project of the same client. You can do that. So it will help in reducing your manual work and creating a new pipeline altogether again. Automate the repeated task and focus on actual testing. Yes, if we are doing using this, it will automate the task. It will reduce the our working energy on creating a new pipeline and will help in testing. We can implement test cases there. We can use some additional test cases pipeline and stages in our pipeline for doing the testing. And we can implement that in pipeline itself. So everything as code. Yes, everything is code means you have to, everything will be on code. You don't have to do anything manually by going on UI. You just write a code, maybe in Groovy, maybe in YAML or JSON format, whichever you find better. And you can write the code. And once the code is ready, you just have to publish it via Git and the pipeline will be ready automatically. It will fetch from Git and will deploy the pipeline, ready the pipeline. And finally, yes, one of the major benefits, reduce cost and also improve overall productivity. So yes, it will reduce our cost. You don't have to implement 4 or 5 people to do same task. It can be done by 1 or 2 members of the team, and it will improve the productivity, because if there is any lag or there is any issue with the pipeline or any deployments, it will help us in overcoming it bit earlier. So yes, next slide, please. Okay, so before going to the YAML file, let us understand the UI version of GoCD. So here we are explaining earlier also that how a GoCD, a sample pipeline is created, which has explained us creating a single pipeline. So let us understand and go a bit more details how our pipelines are created in GoCD via UI version and how it looks in the UI format. So here in the screenshot, you can see there is a pipeline named demo group. So this demo group is not a pipeline name, it's a pipeline name group. We have defined a group of pipelines called demo app. Under this pipeline group, we have defined 3 separate pipelines, that is demo app int, demo app QA, demo app prod. So these are the 3 separate pipelines for a simple project. Now, by the three pipelines, we want to segregate the pipelines in terms of environments. So we should be on the safe side and create a separate pipeline as per the requirements of individual environment. Here you can see there are green ticks at the bottom. The green tick shown is the number of stages, which is defined like in the first block, you can see 4 green ticks, that is 4 stages are defined. In the second, there are 3 stages, and third, again 3 stages. And the gray out one means it is not deployed. So let us go in bit more details of individual pipelines. Next slide, please. Okay, let us first understand what is demo app int stage. So this is the very first pipeline. So here, as I told earlier, there are 4 different stages defined, the 4 different green signs. So the similar signs we have defined those. The very first stage is unit test. The second stage is build and push image. Third is deploy app, and fourth is the health check. So we have defined individual stages with required parameters in the YAML file, and the same has been reflected here on the UI version. So you will get bit more details once I show the YAML file as well for this job. So in the int environment, we have defined 4 different stages. As this is a int, we are using unit test in the very first initial starting before build and push. Now let us understand how a QA stage is different from int. Let's go ahead. Next slide, please. Okay. Now you can see in the QA stage, there are 3 stages only. If you can see, in the QA pipeline, there are 3 stages only. But no unit test is there, no build and push image is there. Instead, there is a deploy app, there is an API test and health checks for the application, which is to be deployed. So again, as per the environment, like it's a QA environment, we have to do some API testings. We have implemented a pipeline for API tests. We are deploying the things. We are using deploy app stage for deploying. and after that testing will be performed, health checks will be done, and then yes, then we go ahead and we'll understand more how a production will be gone after the QA. So next slide, please. Okay. Now in the production pipeline, you can see there are again 3 stages, but these 3 stages are different from the QA and the end. So here you can see a waiting zone, a deploy app, and health checks. And now you can see deploy app and health checks are gray out, whereas waiting zone is green. So what waiting zone is, there is a section if you want to add an approval, if you want to define that, okay, someone from our team or from maybe delivery manager or our manager or team lead should approve our pipeline before going in the production, or there should be approval process. We can define that in the waiting zone as well. And again, once the waiting zone is done, clear, that is the approval we have received, we can deploy the app under the deploy app stage, and finally the health check of that particular deployed application in production. So as you can see, the all the 3 pipelines are different from each other as per the environment. Now, how this looks in the virtual map diagram. So let us understand that as well. Next slide, please. So this is a virtual map diagram for GoCD YAML pipe. So here you can see the very first, there are 3 connections which we have defined. The 1, 2, and 3. In the 1, that is the standard process. Once whenever the code is committed, it will go in int. Once it is passed in int, it will pass to QA and then to prod. If suppose you want to test something directly on QA, you can do it via the second connection. And similarly for prod, if something very urgent, maybe something which is to be done, so you can use this BSM as well. So for the third, you can use the third connection for that. So let us go ahead. Next slide, please. So now we have seen all the 3 pipelines, the different stages which we have defined. Let us understand how a YAML file for these pipeline looks. Can you open the YAML? So in the pipeline, you can see again the Pooja has explained that the name should be pipeline.gocd.yaml. So we are showing the same file. Here you can see we have defined different pipelines grouped together as demo app. So I will explain a single pipeline, that is demo app in from using this YAML, so that you can get a better understanding how things go ahead in all the code. So the very first you can see pipelines. We have defined the pipeline name demo app in. We have grouped them together. There are some materials defined. Then comes the stages. Unit test is there. You can see at the bottom portion, build and push images there. Then if you go a bit more down, you can see there will be a stage deploy app, and finally the health check. So the basic pipelines, the stages which you are seeing in the block diagram there, the similar we have defined in the YAML format here. Now you might be confused, like what all components are there inside, how it looks so complex compared to the UI. So let us understand in more details about the terminologies, what all things are there in each pipeline and how it goes. So back to slides, please. Next. So let us understand the very first line of our YAML pipe, that is the pipelines. So I am explaining a major pipeline, a major code of one single pipeline. So let us go ahead. The very first line of a YAML file which is defined in GoCD is pipelines. You have to define pipelines in the very first line. Then you define the pipeline name which is to be executed. Now, as I told earlier, there is a demo app int pipeline. So you can see we have given a name demo app int. Under that, you can see there is a group. So the very first initial slide, if you remember, there was a group demo app. So we have grouped these pipelines under the demo app. So in future, if you want to group multiple pipelines under a single application, like suppose you have a pipeline where you have 4 different environments for a single microservice, you can group it under a same name. Materials, yes, it's one of the major important terminologies in PyYAML, GoCD YAML. Material is the source code where we are keeping our pipelines as code. So it's the version control system majorly. In our scenario, we are using Git. You can see our GitHub.works inc gocd_demo.git is the path where our code is residing. Similarly, we can use SVN, Purpose, Config Repo, and other which are compatible with GoCD. for materials. So it is not restricted to Git itself. Next parameter you can see is environment variables. So if you want to define a variable which is to be used in all the ports multiple times, and there might be variables which you can change in future as well. Like suppose in this scenario, you can see image name, image version, Docker username is there. Like suppose I want to change my image name from GoCD underscore demo underscore app to GoCD underscore demo. Then I don't have to scroll at each place where this image name is defined. I just have to change it here. And from the reference call, it will update in the pipeline. So this is how environment variable helps us in executing our things. Let's go on the next slide. Yeah, terminologies. Again, in terms of next stages, we can see there are different stages. So I will explain a single stage, that is unit test, the very first block. Under this, you can see there are segregated by jobs and tasks. Under jobs, you can define what all things are to be done. Like we want to keep our code in artifact, we are using that. Okay, this is the source, this is the destination. If there is some test reporting or you want to see some reports of your test, you can define under tabs. Okay, UT report for this, and for coverage test, this is the report path where you can track the test report. In the task, the final execution takes place where you want to execute the code, where you want to execute your command, where you want to complete your task, the command which is finally deploying the code to the server. So yeah, in this way, we can define the stage, various stages in a pipeline, and pipeline as code will definitely help in reducing the manual work. So yes, next slide. So yes, let's learn to code. Yep. So that's it from my end. Next slide, please. So any Q&A, question answers?
Right. So, folks, I think in the interest of time, so we've covered the concepts of GoCD so far, right? So we'll have a demo now by Ashi, and so if you would like to follow along with the demo, then I'm just sharing the link for the Git repo that Ashi will be using. So if you could just clone this onto your machines, then you can follow along with her. So I'll just give you a minute to do that, and then we'll jump to the demo, and then hopefully in the end we'll take up more questions.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I am Ashi and I am working in ThoughtWorks since about last close to 2 years and into this cloud domain since about last 5 years from the starting of my career. And today me and Mrinal we are going to present you the demo of the CI/CD by using the GoCD tool, which is a ThoughtWorks tool. So yeah, up to you, Mrinal.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mrinal Kantikosh and I've been in ThoughtWorks for last almost 2 years and I've been in DevOps journey. It's almost like last 5 to 6 months. Okay, let's get started with the demo. So this is the repo details. I think Sadaf already shared in the chat. So let's go to the. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry. So this is the repo we have. You can clone the repo and go through the README. So we need some prerequisite to start write the GoCD YAML files. The first thing is to install Java. So GoCD, every GoCD server is compatible with some Java version. Right now we are using the latest version of GoCD, which is Java 11 compatible. So you need to install Java 11 and Docker as well, because all our because basically we are using some Java Spring Boot e-commerce application, and we are going to containerize that using GoCD. And also you need two more stuffs, which one of them is GoCD server. So you can go to this link and you can install for your operating system. So I have Mac, so I have already installed that. And also we need to install GoCD agent to build our application. So we have a link for that also. You can go there and install for your local system. So I have already installed that. So I have already installed that. Already downloaded that zip file and already extracted those. So let's go and start the GoCD server first. So I have starting the GoCD server as well as the GoCD agent. Okay, the server is started. Let's start the GoCD agent as well. So GoCD server actually use the 8153 port. So it's starting. It will take some time. In the meantime, let's go through the next steps. So in order to connect with Docker Hub with your GoCD server, you need some plugin. So in this demo, we are pushing all the image to Docker Hub. So you need to have one Docker Hub Docker Hub account as well. And in order to connect Docker Hub with your GoCD server, you need to install this plugin. You can just clone the repository here, and you can use this command as well to build the jar, which can be used as executable for the plugin. So after you execute this command, you will get the jar in build libs folder. Just copy the jar and paste it. So here I have all the GoCD server agent and plugin repo. Just copy the jar from here, this jar, over the GoCD server plugins and then external. So I have already installed, already copied that jar over here. So I don't need to do that right now. You can do it if you are going to do this for the first time. So let's go to the GoCD server. I think it will start it already. Okay, no, it's not started. Okay, here it is. Okay, so next you have to go to the artifact store. So this is where this plugin are used. So here you have to configure your artifact storage. So we are using Docker Hub. So we are choosing the registry type as others. We have to pass the Docker registry URL, which is basically hub.docker.com, and username of your Docker Hub, username password of your Docker Hub account. And you must give an ID here as well. So as I already have that, so this is what looks like. So my ID is GoCD demo and others, and this is Docker registry URL, username and my password. So now you are good to connect with Docker Hub from your local GoCD server. Now what comes next is config repository. So you have to tell GoCD server that, okay, here is my code from where you can get the YAML file and make the pipelines. So I already have the pipelines because I have set it that configure repo, give the GoCD URL and copy pasted it here in GoCD server admin config XML section. So you can edit from here, and as you see, I have already pasted that. So it will go into this repository, search for a file that is ended with .gocd.yml, where all our pipeline configurations are present. Okay. The next step is you have to change some variables in your YAML files. The first one is Docker Hub username. You have to provide your own Docker Hub so that it can connect with that. The ID, this is basically the artifact ID you can provide in your YAML file, and this is the stored ID which we have configured in GoCD server artifact store. So for me, this is the artifact store is GoCD demo. So I have already provided that in here, the GoCD demo. And the next come webhooks. So before webhooks, let's talk about how GoCD actually polls connect with your GitHub. So GoCD polls in every 1 minute to check your GitHub repo that whether it has something new commit or not. If it has something new, it will automatically re-trigger your pipeline. So that waiting for 1 more minute is not a good thing. So the way around of it is using the webhook. So GitHub webhook provides some feature that if you push something in your repository, it will publish a push event and inform your GoCD, okay, I have a new commit, you can retrigger the pipeline. To install that, you have to provide these Go API webhooks, GitHub notify endpoint of GoCD server. So as GitHub webhooks has some limitations that it always needs some public URL, and you are using localhost as of now. So I think it will get some problem to connect it with. So a way around of it also has, so that is the ngrok application. You can download it from here and just use the executable file with the port number of GoCD. So if you use ngrok HTTP 8153, it will provide you some public URL. So you can go to the GitHub settings, give that URL and the endpoint provided by GoCD. So now you can use GitHub webhooks for your local GoCD server as well. Okay, so I think these all are the prerequisites you have to configure before starting the code in GoCD pipeline YAML. Okay, now I'm handing over to Ashi to describe the next.
Ashi, can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Sorry. So thanks, Mrinal, for giving up the heads up regarding the prerequisite. So yeah, so here we are, and this is our general flow where developer is committing some code in the Git or any other repository, and then we are applying some polling or some webhook, and then we have multiple environments. For example, we have int environment, we have QA, or you can say other UAT or prod. So here for this demo, we will be having 3 environments, and then whenever we are committing something, we are running some unit test against our code, and then we are building our application. By building, we means we are packaging it, we are making the jar out of it, and then we are deploying it in the actual environment, and then we are doing some minimal health check so that before promoting it to the QA, we can be sure. So similarly, we have the QA environment and we have the prod environment. So let's now map it, how it maps to the actual CI/CD pipeline. So let's go over here. Okay, so this is my repo which I'm currently using, and we are going to showcase a Java Spring Boot application. It's a minimal e-commerce application which is having certain endpoints that we will show. So in this repo, we are having one file, pipeline GoCD.yaml. And this file is responsible for creating every CI/CD pipeline. As you know about the Jenkins, in Jenkins, we also have Jenkins file. So this is similar to that only. Okay, now go in more detail regarding this. So this is my pipeline GoCD.yaml file. Inside it, you can see we have 3 pipelines, and each pipeline is actually mapping to one environment. So you can see demo app int, demo app QA, and demo app prod. So this is mapping to here, int, QA, and prod. Now inside int, we are having 4 stages. So somebody has asked us, what are the stages? So stages in the CI/CD world are the different tasks which you are performing in sequence inside a pipeline. So you can see we are having stages over here, and we are having 4 stages. We are having unit test, we are building our image, we are deploying our application, and then we are doing the health check. So now let's go from starting. We are using a material, as Mridul and Pooja have already mentioned. This material is from where we are pulling our code. So we are pulling the code from this GoCD demo repository. we have also certain environment variables which we can set by default like this. But if you want to change them on the runtime, then also you can do it. So I will show its mapping over here. So this is my, sorry. So this is my GoCD UI, and here we have this different pipelines over here. Inside this pipeline, if I say manual trigger, then I can see the environment variables over here. These variables are the same which I have here. Cool. So let me open it here. Okay. Now let's go into more detail about the unit test cases. So we have our first stage as unit test. Here you can see we have job. And then inside the job we have task. We have two tasks over here. So stage runs in sequence, and then inside the stage we have jobs. Jobs can run in parallel. So if you have certain tasks which have no dependency on each other, so you can run them in parallel as well. And then we have the task inside the jobs which again run in sequential manner. So currently I have my GoCD server and my GoCD agent set up on my local only. So I'm having just one agent on which I can run my task. Hence I'm using only one job. And also my tasks have dependencies among each other. So I'm running them sequentially rather than parallelly. Okay, so now let's go into details of each task. So you can see here we are just running MVN clean test because it's a Java application. So we are using Maven over here, and I'm just running my unit test. And then after running the unit test, I'm saying just generate some reports. So why it is needed? Let's say we have written some unit test, but the testing team or some another team wants to know how many test cases have been passed, or if they want to know how much is the test coverage. So they want some report by which they can just see and know. So for that purpose, we are generating the reports. So now the question comes, we are generating the reports, but where to publish it, or where we can visualize it, or how other team can download it. So we have one very good feature in the GoCD as well. We have the artifacts. So you can say you can output your output. You can output the task of any of your job as an artifact. So in this case, I am taking test reports as an artifact, and I am publishing it on my GoCD server. By default, if I'm not specifying whether my artifact is internal or external, so it is always internal. It will always be published on my GoCD. So I can show you this task. And so you can see here I have told source and destination. So in source, I'm taking from where to take up these reports. So the reports are present in the target site folder. So whatever the reports are present over here, they will come inside this folder. And then I am saying display it as a tab. So I am using a tab with the name UT report. This tab will display this report, surefire report.html, and I am having one more report which is UT coverage. So it will display what's the coverage of my unit test. So let's map it now. So this is my pipeline, and these are the 4 different stages. Let's go into the unit test stage. So this is my unit test. And here you can see the 2 tasks that were running over there. These are here, ambient clean test. And you can also see here it is generating the report. So now from here you can see the artifacts are here. And there is a folder by the name test reports. And inside this test reports, I am having various HTML files, some folders. So this test report is created due to this, because I have marked, he put all my reports over here in the destination folder. You can also see 2 tabs have been created, because I have marked here, he create the tabs. And in that tab, I will have my report, HTML report. So you can see over here, I can see the unit test cases report. So 5 test cases have been run and they all are success, no failure, 100% success rate. You can see which all test cases, what's the name of the test cases and everything. So is it not fascinating that everyone can just visualize it on the UI rather than going in the code and asking someone? So this is a good feature. And also we can see how much unit test coverage you have done. So you can also configure some plugin like SonarQube, and you can also say, you can also put some quality gate. If your application is having these many bugs, then just break it over here, don't promote it to the QA. So there are many features which you can implement. I have just showcased a minimal one. Okay. So in meantime, I will take up the questions as well. So this is my first stage. Now let's go to the diagram again, flow diagram again. So my unit tests have been passed. Now my second is to build my application. And when I'm saying build my application, it means packaging. So now let's check what is happening inside that. Let me minimize this. Let me open this one. Okay. So inside the build and push image, again, I'm having a job and we are having 2 tasks over here. So let's go one by one. And you can also see there is certain artifacts. And this time the artifacts is external. So I will come back to this later on. Okay. So for this demo application, we have used Docker, and I'm assuming that everyone has prior experience with the Docker, and we are using Docker so that we can make our agent, or you can say make our machine less crowded by running all our tasks inside the Docker. So whatever the Maven clean test or application packaging, whatever we are doing, we are using the Maven Docker image over here. So you can see from here as well, I'm using a Maven Docker image. And I'm running all the commands inside that Maven so that I don't have to install Maven in my own machine. Now you can see I'm just packaging a jar, and then in the next task, what I'm doing is I'm just saying build a Docker image and take the Docker file from here. So you can see the Docker file here. I'm using an OpenJDK Alpine image as a base image, and we are just saying whatever the jar has been built in the previous stage, just copy it inside this Docker image. So this jar is prepared, this target Spring Boot Angular.jar. This is prepared in this stage. And we are copying it inside the Docker image. So now, whenever my Docker instance or container will run, it on the runtime, it will start this container, it will start this application because it has entry point set as java -jar app.jar. So you must be knowing to run a simple Java application, this is the command. So we are running it at the entry point. Okay, so now my application has been built. It has been packaged into a jar inside a Docker image, but I have not pushed it yet. So for that purpose, I am using this artifacts. I am saying use an external artifact because I am going to push my Docker image in the Docker Hub account. And here we are passing the ID of my artifact. So this ID can be anything. For example, I can say Docker image, or I can just name it. It's just an artifact name. You can give it any. And then I am specifying the store ID. So this store ID is the one which I'm having here. So here is the store ID. This is, which Mrinal has also showed to you. So in the current example, I have taken both as same, but you can differentiate between these. And I'm passing the configuration that by what name my image will be pushed and what's my repo name. So this is my Docker Hub account username. which I am passing by the environment variable. So you can change it as per your account name. And then I'm passing the image name. And then I'm passing the Go pipeline level. So basically when you are pushing the image, you need a certain level, otherwise you need a certain tag, otherwise it will push by the latest tag. So I want to maintain different versions of the Docker image. Hence, I am using this Go pipeline label. So this is a built-in environment variable which comes by the Go CD. So this is this variable. I will show you. So if you see here, I am having instance number as 9. So this is my build pipeline level. So every time my image is built, it will be pushed to the Docker with this tag. So in this way, you can differentiate which code I'm having, which version it will have, which tag it will have. So this will help you out. So now let's map it. Okay. So this is my demo app build and push image. Now let's see what is happening over here. Here we are building some jar and then we are pushing this. So my image has been tagged with the name Ashi Consult GoCD demo app latest as well as with the tag because my build pipeline level is 9 over here. So now let me see whether this image has been pushed or not. So this is my Docker Hub account. Let's see over here whether it is there or not. So you can see this is, let's refresh. So this is my repo name, Ashi Consult, and this is my Docker image name. And here you can see we have different tags. So image with the different tags is getting pushed over here. So you can see this image has been pushed about an hour ago because I have run this pipeline about an hour ago. Yeah. So in this way, you can push your artifact. So GoCD provides several ways. Means you can either push your artifact to the AWS ECR or any other cloud. So for this demo, I have used a Docker Hub as a registry. Now let's move to the next stage. So in this way, we have done the unit test, we have built our application. Now the time is to deploy our application. Because developer is doing some code, but we have not yet checked whether that is deployable or not in the integration. So now let's do that. Minimize this one. Let's see deploy app. So here you can see we are fetching the artifact. We are saying artifact origin is external. We'll fetch it from the external. And we are passing this artifact was produced in demo app int pipeline and in this stage because it was published in the previous stage. So that's a stage name and job name was also same. Here is my artifact ID because I have passed my ID as GoCD demo over here. So this is the same ID. And then I am saying fetch it only if this previous stage was successful. So in this way, my artifacts will be fetched. Then I'm saying I'm running some cleanup script because I'm running on my local machine and I have different environments and I'm just deploying my container here only. So I have to run some cleanup. But this will not be the case in the actual production when you are deploying it inside some Kubernetes or some cloud, then you will not need this cleanup script. So now I'm saying just run my container and I have passed my image name. So you can see from here, it is taking it from the environment variable and by default, it will always be the latest tag. So you can specify if you want to deploy a certain tag, an image with a certain tag. So here I have specified the port number. He run this application on the port number 81. So now let's look at it on the UI, how it looks like. So this is my deploy app. And you can see my application has been deployed and this is my container ID. So now let me check. So it was running on this port. So this is one endpoint. So you can see my application is running and we are having certain users over here. So now this step is also complete. Now, what's next? We have deployed our application also. Now, before promoting it to QA, we want certain health check to be done so that we can be sure enough here our application is running. So we are just running a curl command in order to verify. So I'm just hitting one endpoint API predict so that I can know, yeah, my application is running. And if it will give error, then it will give me a non-exit code, non-successful exit code, and it will stop here only. So you can see from here, I have this health check. And yeah, I'm able to successfully curl it. It is able to give me the result. So in this way, my int environment is complete. Isn't easy? So you can see this environment is completed. Now, once my integration is done, I want to promote my environment to the QA so that the testers can run some API test and they have some different environment rather than doing the work on the same integration environment. Okay, so let's see it now. So let me minimize this now because my demo app is completed. Now here is my QA. Inside the QA, I am passing my material. One is this repo from where I am taking the code, and another one is my this upstream pipeline. So as in the Jenkins and the other CI/CD tools, you can define the dependencies between the pipeline. For example, my QA pipeline should only be running after the integration pipeline. So I have defined the dependency over here. Okay, and this is just a name. You can give any name over here. So I have defined the pipeline after which it will run. So it's a demo app int, and I've defined the stage as well. So I want the QA pipeline to be triggered only once integration environment is done with the health check. So then I am defining some environment variables, same as an integration environment. Then we are having the 3 stages. So you can map it from here: deploy app, API test, and then health check. So here you might be wondering why I'm not building the app. So because in normal project scenarios also, you just build it one and you deploy the application in every environment so that your code is consistent. That's why you don't build it in every environment. You build it just once. So what I'm doing is, in the deploy app, I am having the jobs. Inside the jobs, I am having some artifact. So here I am publishing a cleanup script which we have used in earlier pipeline also as an artifact, so that in my future pipelines I don't have to clone the whole repo. I just need to fetch this artifact. So this is just for example that how you can publish your artifacts. And then we are having the task. Inside the task, I am having 3 tasks. So first one is the fetch. So as the name suggests, I am fetching something. So it is saying fetch the artifact from external. And this time fetch it from this pipeline, this stage, and artifact name is this one. So this is the same task as we did in the demo app QA as well. Here. So same way we are fetching in our QA step as well. We are fetching the Docker image. So my artifact here is my Docker image. So I am fetching my Docker image from the integration environment, which is internally pulling from the Docker Hub. And then I'm running some cleanup script, and then I'm deploying my application. So this time I'm deploying my application with the port 82 because these are running on my local so that it doesn't conflict with each other. So let's see it now. Yeah, this is my demo app QA pipeline. Here is my deploy app stage. Here you can see I'm fetching something. It has pulled it. You can see the artifact stored as Docker registry. So it is pulling from the Docker hub directly. Then you can see I'm running the application. So my application has been started. Here you can see the artifacts. So we are publishing some artifacts over here. So you can see cleanup.sh. This has been published as an artifact. Inside this, I can also download it. So you can see script has been downloaded. Okay. So now let's come to the next step. We have to do some API test. I have not put anything over here. It's just echo. But same as we have put for the unit test, you can put your API test over here and you can publish your reports in the same way. Then we are running some health check over here to be sure, yeah, that my application is running. So now we are done with our int environment as well as the Q environment. So you can see these two stages now have been completed. Now what's next? So as Sparsh and Manali have also told you about the continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So here I'm going to adopt continuous delivery instead of continuous deployment so that I can showcase that how we can apply the manual gates. So in the production, we have put 3 stages: waiting zone, deploying application, and health check, because we generally don't do any testing directly on the prod. Because by that time, we are sure enough that our application is mature and it is fully tested because it is passed by various environments. So we are having some waiting zone. It is just for demoing purpose. Some placeholder is there, which has to be approved, and then only it will deploy my application. So now let's go to it. Here you can see I'm using a group, I'm using a material. This time my material is just the QA pipeline. So my prod pipeline is dependent upon the QA. So let me show you one more good thing of GoCD. We have the VSM. VSM is the value stream map, which lets us know which lets us visualize how your pipelines are dependent. So you can see my integration pipeline is dependent upon my Git code, and my QA is dependent upon my int and my Git repo. But my prod is only dependent upon the QA. So this is a very nice way of visualizing. So anyone can know, okay, what is happening, how my pipelines will trigger. So QA pipeline will not trigger unless and until my int is done, and prod will not trigger until and unless my QA is done. So now let's get back to the stages. We have stages, we have jobs, we have tasks inside it, and we are just echoing something. You can skip this stage as well. We are just saying waiting for the prod deployment to trigger. So this is this stage, if you can see. Waiting zone. So now next, let's come to deploy application. So every time, depending upon the projects to project, it might not be necessary that we are always deploying our application to the production. So that's why we are using approval. So we want it should be passed. My artifact should be passed till QA, but I want to I want to hold it till QA. I don't want to promote it to prod. I want it should be promoted only once a week or once in a day, like something. I don't want to push to prod after every developer commit. So I have marked as approval as manual, so it will not trigger automatically. So you can see it here. The symbol over here is different, but the symbol over here is different. So this is the symbol of manual approval. So you can see if I will trigger it, then my application will start running. So there are other features also. For example, you can assign the role also who can trigger this. So that you can go through on the GoCD guide on the documentation. And then we are having jobs inside this. We are having tasks. We are having 4 tasks over here. first of all, we are fetching our script, and then, so here you can see we are fetching the cleanup script, which we have built in the QA stage. So here in the deploy app, we have built some artifact, which we are pulling in the prod. So here you can see we are fetching. And here this time artifact origin is GoCD. Then we are fetching my Docker image, and then we are just running this cleanup script, and then just we are running the application, deploying the application. And then we are doing some health check. So in this way, we can see the whole flow over here. So I think it should be coming up, and yeah. So now let's see what happens if I made some changes. I think we are already running out of time. So let's give just a couple of minutes so that we can show how we can trigger, we can do some change, and how we can visualize how the changes are happening. So let me do a change in my pipeline, in my source code. So let me put something. I have changed my application source code. Let me commit it and see what happens. So you can see I have pushed one commit. As soon as I have pushed the commit, this pipeline must be running again. So you can see my pipeline has been triggered again. So this is what we can achieve via the GoCD. So this is the complete CI/CD process. Yeah. Now I think we can open up for the questions.